Hey guys, Master Lincoln here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so yesterday I posted, after the Dokkan podcast, once we had wrapped up and I was finishing off doing some admin behind the scenes, Minato stayed in the voice chat and our boy Ignorant joined as well. And whilst I was sorting out, you know, the admin stuff for the podcast, getting the upload ready for YouTube, all that kind of stuff, we started talking about a top 10 list. I can't remember who brought it up originally, because we were talking about Super Vegeta on JP. So obviously those guys were mainly talking about JP. And I decided I had a look back at my old top 10 list, which I did way before. It was like before the GT Super Saiyans came out, before Pikkon and Janemba came out. So I decided to redo mine while I was talking to them. And yeah, this is it. I tweeted it out afterwards. I thought, why not? I only made it to show them. I've said before, even though I have done the odd video here and there, that I don't usually do tier lists. And the main reason for that is something that I feel a lot of people fail to acknowledge. So that's something I want to get into here straight away. If you've already commented about how you disagree with my picks, then I'm very disappointed in you, because you didn't wait to hear my explanation. But the main thing I want to say is that people rate units very differently. So when somebody says, I think XYZ, whatever unit, is the best unit in the game, what is the criteria that they're using to determine that? Because everybody thinks of things differently, right? Like for me, for example, when I think of how good a unit is, one of the things I don't often take into account is their leader skill. Because for me, I want to use them on a bunch of different other teams. So even if they lead the best team in the game, but they're not that great, then obviously I'm not going to take that really into account that much. Now, that has become a lot more valuable recently with difficult events like the GT Goku event, the God event, all that kind of thing. But yeah, everybody has different criteria. So Videl obviously is not out on Global. She's a very contentious one for people and where they rank her. Because you could easily argue that Videl is the best TUR, but you can only really use her on like one or maybe two teams. So for me personally, if you have two units, one of them is far and away better, but can only be run on one team, and then the other one would maybe be considered the second best unit, but you can run them on like 8 different categories. For me, I would probably find that second unit to be better, because you can use them in more things. So that's one thing I think everyone should bear in mind. You know, it's all opinions at the end of the day. Everybody has them. You'll feel free to disagree. I absolutely don't mind. Explain why you disagree in the comments. But I just get sick and tired of people getting like really negative about people's picks for these kind of things, because it really doesn't matter. And if you rate your units differently to me, that's perfectly fine. Let me know why. I'm perfectly happy to discuss in the comments if I leave out any reasonings here behind why I picked certain units over other ones. And yeah, let me know your top 10s. But this is my top 10 Dokkan Fest exclusive TURs on Global as of right now. No Easy A's, obviously. Obviously no LRs, no units that are not out on Global, any of that kind of stuff. So, as you can see, 1 and 2 are the GT Super Saiyan Goku and Vegeta. I'm going to go through some of the comments on this tweet as well. But the GT Goku and Vegeta are, I would say, somewhat interchangeable. A lot of people said that they would probably put Vegeta over Goku, and I probably wouldn't argue. If you prefer Vegeta over Goku, that's fine. I think I could have just made the top slot 1 and 2 and put them together, but then people probably still would have gone by whoever's picture I put first and thought that I meant they were number 1. So the reason why I put Goku at number 1, I have both of them at 55%. I have a lot of experience using both of them. They're both insanely good. For me, the thing that tips it for Goku, in my opinion, is the fact that he's on Kamehameha and Goku Family, which are 2 categories that are much more powerful than some of the categories that only the Vegeta is on. And obviously just Kamehameha is a ridiculous team. Having the Kamehameha link, you can run this Goku alongside a bunch of other units that he's going to help out, not just because of his orb changing, but because of his link set, and he's going to help them a little bit more than Vegeta will. So, like I said, I could perfectly agree with them being switched if you want to have Vegeta at 1, Goku at 2. But for me, Goku tips it a little bit just because of his links and his category. And obviously, even though the leader skill is lower, he is a Goku family lead, which until the new Super Vegeta from JP comes out, I don't think we can even have a discussion that Goku family is clearly much better than Vegeta family in terms of the overall team. So, moving on to number 3, we have Tech Ultimate Gohan. Now, this is the one where my thinking has changed quite a lot. And this is what I was saying in the beginning about leader skill. And this is kind of what made me reconsider. So, back when I made my old top 10 list, the GT Super Saiyans obviously weren't out. I had Broly at 1, Gogeta at 2, and then I think Gohan was 3. Now, the reason why Gohan has moved above them for me is largely due to his team. He's insanely good, don't get me wrong. You can put him on any team that he runs on, and he's going to work really well. I know the APT boys like to have a heart attack about how he's not hitting 5 million attacks out on turn 1, but even on turn 1, if he's on a 170 lead, you don't normally see him hitting lower than like 2 million, which is still pretty good for a unit that guards and infinitely stacks. So the reason why he's now so high on the list is largely due to the God event. If you take any team into the God event, you might get some bad luck, you might die. Now, obviously you could still get bad luck, but you could then just go back into the event with Gohan and his team, and you can win. You can beat every single God event with Gohan and his team. But you can't really say that about Broly and Gogeta. Broly and Gogeta can perform well in the God event, but Broly's team definitely lets him down a little bit. I do like movie bosses plus planetary destruction. I mean, you basically just end up running a movie bosses team, but with Kid Buu on it. But a lot of the units that you would run on Broly's team in other events, maybe even like Super Battle Road, are just not good for like the God event or the GT Legendary Goku event. So you can use Broly on a team and he's really good. Maybe I would say better than Gohan in certain circumstances. But Gohan's team and how well he has aged and will continue to age because he's on such good teams, that pushes him above for me. So moving on to 4 and 5, Gogeta and Broly. Again, this is one I feel a lot of people were saying they would switch them. I would be perfectly fine with that. I did a very in-depth video a while ago comparing the two of them and all their stats and everything. If I remember, I'll put a link to that in the description. And I feel like even I could flip-flop on this depending on the day. But I just really like the Broly. He infinitely stacks, so in longer events he's obviously going to be even more valuable. Whereas Gogeta explodes out of the gate on turn 1, but then in a longer event his passive does then run out. And of course, if he does have that 50% chance to counter a super attack, but if he doesn't counter that super attack, he still takes a lot of damage. So yeah, he doesn't have Saiyan Raw, which is unfortunate. Broly doesn't have big bad bosses. I think if they had those links, they would be a little bit higher up the list. But yeah, they are at 4 and 5. So then for number 6, we have Goten and Trunks. Goten and Trunks are super good. I've used them in the God event for the Int Gods a couple of times. The fact that turn 3, they have the active skill where they just get a 100% chance to dodge is really good. Obviously, they get better with dupes or with skill orbs if you give them a little bit of dodge in the hidden potential system, so you have a chance to build up that passive without just relying on their active skill. But the reason why they're so high again is not just are they really good, but their leader skill. They lead Kamehameha, which is one of the best categories in the game, I think. And then Gifted Warriors actually adds a lot of really useful extra units. Physical Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, his Easy A is pretty busted. The AGL and Physical Goten and Trunks that got their Easy A's, they're really good. And obviously you want to run one of them alongside these guys anyway. So yeah, their team is just insanely good. They are incredibly good. So yeah, I think they're pretty deserving of the number 6 spot. Number 7, we have Physical Frieza. Now, Physical Frieza, I talked about this in the last list that I made. I only put him so high because I recognize that he should be high in the list. But just for whatever reason, for me personally, I don't really like him that much. I pulled him from his initial banner. I did the first couple of videos showing him off. And then since then, I've basically never used him. Now, maybe when I get a few more dupes into him, maybe try him out on some other builds, maybe that opinion would change. But I don't know, there's something about him that I just don't think is all that. Like, when I run a Wicked Bloodline team, or more specifically like the Cooler-led team, I don't use him. There's a bunch of other Freezers or like other Cooler units that I would pick over him. So That's why he's not higher up on the list, but I recognise that he should probably be in the top 10 because he does everything. You can choose to transform on turn 1. He has a whole different amount of utility based on which form that he's in. So he's really, really good. There's just, for whatever reason, something about him that doesn't, like, excite me. And that just goes back to what I said at the beginning about everybody having different things about units that they like. Like, even down to, it's not even, this isn't the case for Frieza, but even down to, like, a lot of reasons why people don't like Videl is if Videl was just Goku with the exact same kit, I think a lot of those people would actually love the unit and say it was the best unit in the game. But because it's Videl, people don't want to say that it's the best unit in the game. We saw that happen when LR Kale and Caulifla released. So that's not really the case for me. I do like Frieza, but I mean, I've always been more of a Cooler fan. But I recognise that STR Cooler is definitely not better than physical Frieza. But he is at number 8. And Bojack is at number 9. And this is another one that people commented on. And I said this when I made the original list. I could quite happily switch Bojack and Cooler. If you think Bojack and Cooler could be switched, I probably wouldn't argue with you. The reason for me is I think Cooler's leader skill is better. I think Transformation Boost and Terrifying Conquerors is much better than Space Traveling Warriors and Time Travelers. Mainly because Time Travelers only gets the 150 buff from Bojack. So your team is a little bit weaker just by definition if you bring some Time Traveler units. Although I do really like that combo. Like, I really like the team that you can make with Bojack's leader skill. But I just think Cooler's is slightly better. And then whilst Bojack, I think, does give much better support because he supports his own category regardless of the number of the enemies, whereas Cooler's support will change. So you kind of have to make sure your team, if you want to use him as a support unit, you have to make sure your team is built around the enemy typings that you're going to be fighting. Or sorry, the number of enemies you're going to be fighting. But when it comes to post-transformation, I think I like Cooler a little bit more. He can transform early and gets guaranteed crits against like 75% of the game. They both infinitely stack attack. I think Bojack might have slightly better defense, but Cooler is just an offensive juggernaut when he transforms. So for me, that puts him just over Bojack, but it really is like by a hair. So like I said, if you want to switch them, that's fine. And then when it comes to number 10, I feel like number 10 could have been a lot of different units. Honourable mentions obviously include the Int Goku that goes alongside this Vegeta. The Int Gotenks I think is really, really good. But I put Tech Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta at number 10. A lot of it could be down to personal preference. I feel like if you want to argue a different unit is number 10, unless it's like a really weird choice or a meme choice, I probably wouldn't argue with you, but I just really, really like this Vegeta. I think he's really good. I like the combination of Super Saiyan 2 and Resurrected Warriors. I know a lot of people don't like the fact that he changes from Super to Extreme, but in most instances that doesn't really cause any issue. So I think he's really good, but like I said, if you want to pick someone else for number 10, I could perfectly understand that. So if we have a quick look at some of the comments, our boy here missing a whole bunch of the units. Mr. T says I would put Pycon at number 10. I'm not sure if that is a meme answer or not, but I could see it. After using Pycon a lot more, I definitely appreciate him more as a unit. You can use him as a support unit on any team that he fits on because getting his support passive is not that difficult, getting the 3 typing orbs. And then as long as you get a rainbow orb as well, he's then basically functioning as a support unit who can also dodge as well as seal. So he is actually very good, and his leader skill is good as well, being Connected Hopes is an okay category, and 130% to all super types is obviously very, very good. Then we have, is this a global tier list? It is a global tier list, yep. Where would you place Videl? So I've made it a point, I've said this before on the podcast and stuff, I don't like to rate or rank units that I can't use myself. So even though I've obviously seen videos of people using Videl, I'm on global, I don't have Videl. I don't think it's really fair for me to like make a definitive like I think she is rank XYZ because I've never used her. So she's going to be next on global, so I guess we'll see. Our boy Dumblit here, I can pretty much agree with this entire ranking. I put Vegeta over Goku. Yep, we kind of covered that already. The defense per Kisra is so busted, makes such a big difference compared to Goku. Huge shout out to the Bojack love, such an underrated unit. Yeah, Bojack's super underrated. He's really, really good. All I would do is put Vegeta above Goku and Gogeta over Broly. Yep, we kind of talked about that already. To be real, it's impossible to first most of all do a definitive top 10. Oh, okay, sorry, yeah. It's impossible, first of all, to do a definitive top 10 because of the quality of all of them. That is very true. Like, everyone, even in the top 5, are so close that, you know, it is what it is. I personally would put Vegeta 1. Yeah, fair. Angel Golden Frieza 3, Ultimate Gohan 2, and then GT Goku at 4. Interesting. So maybe because I'm at 55%, but I hate his defense. Even at 55%, I definitely wouldn't put, like, Frieza over GT Goku. That's interesting. To have GT Vegeta at 1, but Goku at 4. That is interesting. Goten and Trunks are underrated. True. I'd put them in the 3 to 5 range. Yeah, that's fair. After using Golden Frieza, he's overhyped. He's at the top 10 to 12. Fair enough. I mean, like I said, I don't personally like him all that much, but he is very good. I think he deserves to be in the top 10 for Global. I don't personally value Gohan as much as others. I place him above Frieza, but below Goten and Trunks. Everyone else above them on your list. Other than that, I agree. Maybe Bojack over Cooler. Yep, that is... like we talked about, this is genuinely one of the better ones I've seen. Well, there you go. People get a lot of hate from their tier lists. We're still memeing about Sora and SSBK to this day. So, as long as people aren't big mad. But Gohan, I just think, like I said, because of his leader skill, his team, like, he's just so good. Yeah, exactly. This is it right here. I think the God event made a lot of people realize how good Gohan is. After Tech Caulifla, he's probably the best unit to bring. Literally on any stage. Because he can guard, he gets crazy good defense. Frieza being ranked high is such a W. There you go. Someone's happy that he's even in the top 10. So, pretty solid. I'd put the GT Super Saiyans together at number 1. Yep, again, that's fair. He didn't put the new LRs. Well, it is a TUR tier list, so yep. Tech Gohan is a beast. I agree with the whole list, except I put Vegeta over Goku. Yep, that's fair. Respect Tech Margin Vegeta. He's so underrated. Yeah, he is. Ignan, this was his JP list. I'm not going to hugely go into that and make the video super long. I hate Bojack, so he'd be at 11. Nah. Bojack and Cooler are so similar. You can't argue that Cooler should be in the top 10, but then Bojack shouldn't. I don't think that's fair. Another Vegeta over Goku. I like Gohan and Broly being better than Gogeta. I mean, again, it is so close between those guys. So I do think you could make changes there. This looks great. I'm fine with this list for the most part. Put Frieza a little bit higher. What dupe level? Sora likes to rank units only at Rainbow. So to be clear as well, a lot of this is just based on my own experience playing with the units. So again, for example, maybe I just put Cooler over Bojack because my Cooler is rainbowed and my Bojack isn't. Maybe when I finally rainbow Bojack and I've used him a bit more, maybe I would put him over Cooler. But I think it does largely come down to his leader skill. So yeah, I said here, I wouldn't argue with someone all day long on Twitter about any of these placements because they could change. So I was about to slander you, but then I read you said global. Okay, good. Based, I like these placements, good. Until Final Flash Vegeta comes out and wrecks this list, yep. Shout out to our boy AGL Bardock, but unfortunately he's not quite up here. Mad respect for having Gohan at 3. Is our other boy Sora, not the SSBK one, but... Mostly okay with this. I do Bojack over Cooler. Yep, I did reply to this. My boy AC trolling me, so we give him the Super Android 17 response. Respect your list, bro. I'm not that type to bully over a tier list. Exactly. Who would do that? People with nothing better to do who never go outside. And shout out to Where's Tech Janemba minus 999. So there you go. That was my top 10 TURs on Global as of right now. Dokkan Fest exclusive. TURs with no Easy A. Let me know what you guys think down below. Like I said, I'm not like gonna go crazy over people disagreeing. If you do disagree, let me know. Give your thoughts down below and let us know your top 10 and why you put certain units over other ones. So yeah, I'm interested to see what you guys think. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the list down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.